So they're having a summit, and they had a summit at the European Parliament in Brussels. And of course, they're not talking about it in the media here. Dr. John Campbell's talking about it. So here's John Robert Malone, who came on the show in June of 2021, I believe, and told us all about the vaccine and all about COVID and how we should be handling it and what the problems were. And we found out it was a leaky vaccine. We found out you're never going to be able to vaccinate your way out of the pandemic. Those were all lies. And although the vaccine is safe and effective and it will slow the spread. And
did it work in the way that they said? No. But it did something.
Okay, so this is what's happening over there. And he gave this speech, a summary real quickly, and I wanted to play it for you.
MPs that have enabled this opportunity and thank them on behalf of the International COVID Summit Group. This is our third International COVID Summit meeting. First one was in Rome in the Senate by invitation. The second one was in Marseille and Massy in France. And now it's been our great pleasure to be able to share our observations and conclusions here in Belgium. I would like to in particular emphasize one of the key findings that ran all the way through the presentations, which is that in fact there are people who are vaccine injured. This is something that has been suppressed by all channels of, forgive me, corporate media and governments, that there are these individuals who are in fact vaccine damaged, and they have not been allowed to speak. They have had their experiences suppressed. They have been demeaned. They have been gaslit, and they are damaged. And they are damaged in large part consequent to the rush of this product without adequate testing. This was also very well demonstrated during the meeting yesterday, that the regulatory affairs rules and regulations that have guided the European medicines agencies and the FDA and agencies all over the world have been very actively bypassed. And unfortunately, there have been consequences. That what we learn is that the wisdom of having these norms and practices to ensure the safety and effectiveness of products before they're deployed into humans have good reason to be used, that they do provide benefit to the population and to humanity by ensuring that the activities of the pharmaceutical industry, whether well-intentioned or otherwise, are properly controlled to ensure the safety and effectiveness of the products in the population. And I now ask for Europe and the European Parliament to please consider that these individuals who have been subjected to so much, they've not only been damaged by the mandated products and the vaccine passport requirements, et cetera, in order to just engage in their daily activities, to be employed, et cetera, or in lieu of not being vaccinated, they've lost their jobs, they've lost their livelihoods. I strongly encourage that we acknowledge these individuals. We work together, and that the European Union might provide leadership in helping to discover and identify potential treatments and therapies so that they can be made whole, and that they be compensated for the damages that they've incurred as a consequence of the policies that have been implemented throughout the EU, the United States, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, and across the world. So that's my plea. The conference was, in my opinion, a great success. Again, in large part thanks to the willingness of the MPs who have been so courageous in enabling this meeting. And it truly covered a comprehensive scientific scope. We had a clear demonstration that the European Parliament and the European Union was warned that if there was allowance for patenting of genetically modified organisms and allowance for gain of function research, there might well be consequences. And unfortunately, we have seen these consequences now over the last 3 years. We also learned of the damages that have been associated not just with the virus itself, which the evidence indicates was in fact not of natural origin, but also from many of the interventions, and in particular the public policies having to do with lockdowns, the deleterious effects of mask mandates on children, all the way through the legal implications, and looking forward to the international health regulations that are being so actively promoted under the logic that the World Health Organization, which in our opinion, I think most of my colleagues would agree, has been an abysmal failure in managing this outbreak, is now asking for more capital, more power, more control, and more authority, and to really breach the sovereignty of individuals throughout the European Union and the United States and the rest of the world. And I strongly suggest, as do my colleagues, colleagues that presented on this topic that the members of the European Parliament closely scrutinize the proposed international health regulations, much as the African nations did when they came up for debate previously, and take a wary, skeptical, experienced eye, remembering that even good intentions will often go awry, and policies and procedures which seem logical can at times be used for other purposes. So I thank you for your time, for the opportunity to speak here, and I hope you will take back to your constituencies the message that the vaccine damaged do exist and they need to be cared for. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Malone. Christine?
Okay. I have to remind everybody that the vaccine injuries are rare. That's what they call them.
They're so rare you don't even have to give a shit about anybody that got one.
So I thought that was important. They're having this. It's the International COVID Summit, the third one. They're not even. Of course, they don't talk about it in the news. But these are members of European Parliament, and they all have courage to do this. And that's Dr. Robert Malone. He's not a member of Parliament, but he's a doctor, and so a virologist.
Fringe. I call him a fringe virologist.
One of the first ones to use the mRNA vaccine technology, and others built on his work. So he's the pioneer in mRNA vaccine technology. He's a pioneer.
Doesn't mean he knows about it.
Doesn't mean he knows. Hey, everybody, check out my new stand-up special, COVID Lies Are Funny, only $10. And come see us live in Syracuse, Cohoes, New York, Hartford, Los Angeles, Bakersfield, Baltimore, San Francisco, Huntington Beach, and more. Pottstown, even. Go to jimmydore.com for a list of all of our things and see you there.